This might seem a little new agey, but I'm going to say your energy, your intention, and everything you put in to your life, it affects how you react to things. It affects how you hold yourself, your posture. If you're feeling good, you'll be up straight. If you're feeling bad, you'll be down. If it affects the oxygen that's getting to your brain, and it also affects, your focus, your mental health. And this is science. This isn't new. Hydrogen actually has a frequency. Scientists have actually figured that out. This isn't psychology. This is not witchcraft. It's actual science. And there has been a lot of electrical storms. So if any of you have been feeling kind of down or out, and you are living in, let's say, California or Oregon or that kind of thing, you're living on the West Coast, you will probably be feeling the effects. These effects are digestive issues, depression, having no energy, no motivation to do things. You'll feel kind of funky. Maybe your sleep is getting disrupted. I've definitely felt it myself, but it's similar to what would happen when your grandmother says, "Oh, it must be raining because my knees get acting up again." Same thing. And animals are very sensitive to the electrical and energy changes in nature, and everything that you see here scientifically has an energy and a frequency, and it's quite possible that we have lost that we've lost that signal. A frequency is a signal, meaning, when you tune in, I don't know if you tune in or change the knob on your radio, maybe you do in the car, I don't know, but definitely nostalgic if you're one of those people that had all the one of those those knobby radios, and the frequency is how much is being put out there. And sometimes it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, this frequency is really high because um, I'm getting country a lot, and that always seems to be on because country, well, it's a much higher frequency. Now, one of the things that we fear is that it's the wrong channel. You can have a high frequency but be on the wrong channel, and that's possible. But I'm just gonna say we need to be aware of these channels and aware of these frequencies and changes in the atmosphere, the biometric pressures, um, uh, the just changes within our universe. And that sounds new agey, but it's not. This is scientific, and I'm gonna say, please allow yourself to rest and to take time. And if you have to be a hermit for whenever these electrical storms are going on, and I'm telling you, these electrical storms are messing up with the GPS system. So if you have a car that has a GPS or a phone, um, keep in mind if it's malfunctioning and it's taking you to this random location. It's nothing really supernatural. What a lot of times happens when your phone or your car picks up on objects that aren't there, it's usually not a ghost. It's like an electrical, maybe it's an electrical, an electrical mass of some sort of energy that was not quite yet dispersed. It could very well be radiation that it's picking up, because sometimes these radars are very sensitive, and it's causing the tractors in a lot of these fields throughout California to malfunction. They're going in circles because the GPS. We have so many different signals. We have Bluetooth, we have microwaves. I'm not talking about the stuff you cook in, I mean little tiny waves. And there's so much going on. There's the Wi-Fi, or the Wi-Fi as I like to call it. And you're around all of these different energies, and sometimes it's overwhelming, okay? And then when you go with someone else, you got their energies, and sometimes you end up having to feel what they're feeling if you're an empath. There's nothing spiritual about what I'm speaking about. This is all purely scientific. And maybe there might be some things that, you know, it might not be, 100% accurate. Okay, I make mistakes, okay? I'm not going on here and saying this is the truth and nothing else exists. I'm not doing that. And I've seen that with a lot of people, especially when it comes to TikTok. They come in here, they don't have a lot of information. They read a story on Reddit, which is a horrible place to get your information. That's like, it's the same with Twitter or Facebook or any place else that you you see a thread somewhere, or a bunch of comments. And yes, you can absorb a lot of different information, but most of these things can be rumors and things that don't really have to do with reality. And a lot of times I've seen bloggers and vloggers do this, mostly vloggers that will come on TikTok or social media and be very adamant and sound like this is like a fact. And then later on, I find out it's a creepypasta story, and creepypasta is pretty notorious for having these really like creepy stories, horror stories, and it's been around since early internet times. I mean, when blogging was a big deal, there was creepypasta, and it is, to me, a very ancient kind of thing, and it's we're getting to the point where a lot of the information that we see online we can't really trust at all. We go on Google or we go on YouTube, and I've come across that many times. And so when I'm ghost hunting or doing things, I might think, oh gosh, I'm looking at my this happened the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much activity here. There's like the EMF reader is just like going off the charts, and then I look up, and just looking at my surroundings, and I see a huge power line over me. So when you hear that someone is a ghost hunter, don't automatically think that they're all new agey and thinking, no. When I heard stories about ghosts and stuff, I always thought about the logical explanation. What is logic? What medication were they taking? Was there black mold in the house? Because black mold, one of the things is when you're exposed to it and it reaches your brain, is it causes major hallucinations, paranoia, psychosis. It can be really serious. Radiation is another thing that can probably lead to psychosis eventually. Medications, or sometimes when medications aren't in your system, like Eliza Lamb in that hotel. That's horrible that they put that on TV. I'm just saying that was not even a supernatural event. That was literally a young woman that committed suicide because she had stopped taking her bipolar medication. And from her friends and family, they said that she was a lovely young lady, and I think we should stop talking about her. But yes, there are medications that you can take. If you take them, they will cause hallucinations, but also if you stop suddenly, if you just stop all of a sudden in medication, and it's not in your system anymore, your body goes through a withdrawal period, meaning normally you're supposed to taper off of it. You're not just supposed to go and just be like, okay, I'm done with my Zoloft now. No, that's not gonna work out. You need to taper off of it. So there's a lot of that situation. There is mental illness. There is all sorts of things that could lead to you, but believing that you saw a supernatural event. But I'm not gonna discredit someone by just calling them crazy. I am open-minded, and I'm open-minded enough and flexible mentally that I am open to both the scientific possibility and also the supernatural possibility. But I will go through the logical explanation of what is going on scientifically. What's scientifically going on in the situation? Who is involved? Kind of have to be a detective when it comes to that. And when you're using certain devices, when you use certain devices that have a spirit, not spirit box, but a word bank, kind of, where there are these words that will show up. And most people think that those are just random words. And depending on where you are, like some of these tools aren't going to like work instantly for you, from what I've heard. It's very much like a muscle, and it's also getting acquainted with someone. So for instance, when you first meet someone, they're not going to be really, really friendly to you. They might. I mean, I've known people that are like that, but it also might be the fact that they don't know you very well and they might be a little bit more standoffish. When I meet someone, I'm a little bit quiet because I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I should trust this person. But when I find out, when I feel their energy and I realize, oh, they're safe. They're safe now. And then I start to be a little bit crazy and I get to be animated and happy, and I get to show my cruel sense of humor with people, and it's very, and when people vibe with that, that's a beautiful thing. And those kind of relationships take time, and it's the same thing with ghost hunting, or communicating with those entities is really take your time. Nothing is instant. You're not going to automatically just set up your equipment and be like, bam, we got this whole story and we're gonna put it on Max, and it's gonna, yeah, we got a contract with the History Channel, and it doesn't happen that way. You're gonna have to take your time and just vibe with whatever area that you're in, and just be like water, as Bruce Lee would said. When water is in a container, it is the container. When you take it out, it goes back to water. But water becomes whatever it is in. So be like water. If someone needs someone that's focused, be focused. If somebody needs someone who is a little more, less intense, then be less intense. You don't need to please everybody, but you can also just be accepting and be open. And if you see me walking around and I look like this, um I'm not doing anything to hurt anyone. I'm not mentally ill. I am not homeless. I have a home. As you can see, home, bed, hairbrush, and a mouse, which goes to my computer. And this thing, I don't remember what this is called, but it's really cool. Um, yes. But yes, I know what I am. I know what I'm doing most of the time, and I'm just exploring. And you can say hi, you can approach me. I'm a very approachable person, but just know that there's no reason for you to have to call the cops, because I will not endanger you or your children or your family. I am not breaking and entering. I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't. I am, and keep in mind, if I'm filming out in public and you see that, I am on the sidewalk. I am on public property. I am not in a building. If I was in a building, like a business, and I started filming without permission, I would be accountable for harassment. I could be accountable for, and by right, that person can ask me to leave at any time, because I am not following the rules. I, on the other hand, want to follow the rules. I don't want to break an entry. I want to get permission. And until I get permission, it's gonna look really strange. I know. It's gonna look like I mean, with my boho hippie pants and my Iggy Pop t-shirt and my crown on my head, it's gonna look really weird. I'm weird. It's gonna happen again. Get used to it. There's no reason to call the cops. I'm not doing anything. Okay? Cool. Awesome. And beforehand, just check on me. If you see me walking around, just be like, pull over in your car and just be like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, how you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? I'm ghost hunting. Oh, wow, yeah. Ask some questions, because you know what? So many people jump into things and jump to conclusions because they didn't have all the information. Don't be a Karen, okay? Don't be like everybody else on the internet that has no information to back it up, and they assume that they know the story because they heard it from somebody else. He said, she said, and then before they know it, that person's reputation is entirely ruined. So, yeah, actually go out there and find out that information rather than getting it from someone else. and really avoid people that are absolute and say this is the way it should be and nothing else, and there's nothing in between, no gray areas. I'm gonna say life is not black and white, it's in color, it's in technicolor. So that's why I have lots of colors in my outfit and in my attire, because life is beautiful. It's a rainbow. And when I say rainbow, I mean like the kind in the sky, because I like rainbows, before the LGBTQ thing became so big. I loved rainbows. So when I say rainbows, don't get upset and be like, ah, no, no, don't do that. Calm down, please. It's okay. I like how water and the sun combine and create a spectrum of colors, which are very pretty. And I used to draw them as a little girl. All day long, I would draw the, the, the rainbows, and I loved it. So, be a rainbow in a colorless world, please. And don't be a newspaper. Okay? Don't be a newspaper. Because it's black and white. And black and white, it had its time and place, but it's kind of boring now. Okay? Like, how many people are going out and saying, oh, I watched this black and white movie. It was so good. No. No. Unless it's Casino Royale with Daniel Craig and the 007 movies. No, it's not. It's not a thing. So don't be black and white. Be colorful. Be accepting. And be like water. But remember, water breaks through barriers not because it's strong, but because of its persistence. And we need to be persistent when we learn about the world around us, and we need to be aware, and we cannot just jump to conclusions and assume that someone is what they appear to be, because we are layered human beings, and we are all very, very different from one another, and we aren't often what we appear. We just aren't. So I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day.